It's a new day and we are heading out of rural Pennsylvania to Philadelphia. But for now, we're stuck behind a horse-drawn wagon carrying some pants. Hopefully we'll be around it soon and we can continue on our way. It's about an hour to Philadelphia and we'll be parking up and having a look around. We've arrived in Philadelphia and we're in the grounds of the Museum of Art because we want to run up the steps in Rocky. So in a moment, you're probably going to see that happen with some music. So we're now in the heart of Philadelphia. We've got rid of the car and we're looking at City Hall right now. We're going to now go find a market hall for some lunch and then it's on to Independence Hall. After a quite a nice lunch, although I had a Philly cheesesteak with some cheese whiz, and cheese whiz is not something you want to have too often, it's very artificial. We're now at Independence Hall, looking very majestic. And we've now headed round to the other side of Independence Hall. This is, I suppose, the front. This is where you queue up to go and have a look around. I've actually been here before on a previous trip, but it's quite nice having a look around. It's very historical, and this is where various people signed the Declaration of Independence, apparently. So the Americans are obviously very proud of it. As a Briton, I'm not sure I approve, but it's definitely got a lot of history about it. We've just headed into the visitor centre here. Got a nice map. We have a little model of the hall. And yeah, we're now going to be having a look around some of the other parks in the town. So, not entirely sure where we are, but we found this musical fountain. It's also approaching Halloween time here. And we have scarecrows and pumpkins all over the place. But this is going to be it for Philadelphia, and we're now going to be heading by train to New York. So the next video from us will hopefully be in New York. So this is our hotel in New York. We're in the We Live building, which is a subsidiary of WeWork, and basically you get this is a 3-bed studio, and it doesn't cost a great deal of money for where it is. It's quite a lot of money, but it's not too bad. But yeah, got the 3 beds and there's lots of storage, and it's quite a large space. So after a pretty good night's sleep, we're now in New York. The weather's a bit rubbish, but we are heading to the Empire State Building for a visit. So we're now in the Empire State Building. We're about 20 floors up, and we're able to get in here for free because our company has some offices based here. So Juliet and I both work for this company, and they've very nicely let us come and visit. We've now left the Empire State Building and we're at the Vessel. So the Vessel is a very interesting building slash art installation here in New York, in somewhere called the Hudson Yards, I think. And this used to be an old railway yard, and you can see some trains in the distance. But now there's this big sculpture here, and we'll get a better view from the top. So we are at the top of the Vessel sculpture, and as you can see here, it is very impressive. There's lots of these stairs all over the place. It's very high, surprisingly high in fact. And you get a really nice view out across New York. The weather's a bit hit and miss today, but it's still pretty good. And yeah, it's very nice to come visit. I can't remember how much Juliet said it cost, but I don't think it was very much, if it was anything at all. And the only thing to worry about here is apparently some bits of it have fallen apart in the past. So we're going to look around very carefully, and then we're going to be heading to something called the High Line.
So we're in New York City, and this is the High Line. This is my mother Vivian. Vivian, what do you think of the High Line?
I think it's lovely, but this is a very strange viewing spur. Not much of a view.
This is Rebecca, George's mum. What do you think of the High Line? Not a lot. This is my boyfriend George. What do you think of the High Line?
I think it's very nice, Julie. I really like it very much.
Over and out.
So the High Line is a old railway track, and you'll be able to see some old railway tracks here in the undergrowth. And I think this used to be what they call an elevated railway, sort of running high up through the city. But for whatever reason, they decided they didn't want it anymore. And now it is a another sort of art installation type thing. They've got these very nicely painted doors. Not sure what they're about, but they're very nice. And yeah, it's just a nice place to come and walk here in the city. We've left the High Line and we found a dress shop. I'm not really sure on the significance, but this is somewhere called Kleinfeld, and apparently it's a cool place. So we are in the subway. We're on our way back home now. It's been quite a long day out and about. It's been a bit chilly as well, a bit raining. But we're going to get the train now, and then tomorrow we're going to be heading to the Statue of Liberty. It's a new day, and we are at the port here at the bottom of New York City, and we're going to be getting on a boat to go see the Statue of Liberty in a moment. We've just got to get through this big crowd. We're on the boat. It's very impressive. We have the statue there, and we have New York in the distance. I think we'll be docking quite soon. So we're now on the island, and Julia was very impressively able to get us tickets to actually go to the top of the Statue of Liberty, into its crown. So I think this has been shut for quite a long time, but now it's open again. And normally you can go to a couple of different levels of plinth here below the statue, but we've been able to actually go all the way to the top. So we're just heading up through the spiral staircase now, going up through the middle of the statue, and I think we're just approaching the top right now. Yep, here we are. We are in the crown, and we have these windows out, and I believe these are windows at the top of the crown you can sort of see. And yeah, there we have the view of New York City in the distance.
This is the top of the Statue of Liberty crown. So we booked this 6 months in advance. It costs $3 more than the pedestal. That's out to New York. That's the torch. Looking straight down. This is the top of it.
Like that.
Thank you very much.
The camera has to stay inside. You're welcome.
So here's just another view of the inside of the statue. We're a bit lower down than we were before, and you can see the sort of steel girder construction and the metal skin, which is the skin and you can see from the outside of the statue all around us. So we're going to head down now, and we're going to go have a look around the various viewing platforms below the statue. So this is the highest of the viewing platforms that you can normally go to, and it's quite thin and very windy up here, but we have this wonderful view out across the city. The weather is an awful lot better today than yesterday. We're lucky it's this way round. So we have this great view of the city in the distance. And if I dodge these people, we have this wonderful view. And we have this side-on view of the statue with the clouds going overhead. We're even lower down on another plinth, and as you can see there are many layers of plinth here. This may not be the last video you see, but we have, again, lovely views all around us. And I'll have a look, see what we can see as I walk around here. So when you come here, you don't have to do anything to do with the statue. There's various different ticket types, and some people just get tickets to come to the island generally, which will there's people down there on the lower levels, and then you can come to various different levels of the plinth. It's all very commercial, as you'd expect from the Americans, but it is good to do. The only challenge can be getting a good photograph of the statue because it is so tall, but we have a wide angle lens here so we can get it in reasonably well. And if I head over here, dodge around these people, you can have another look at New York City. There we go, looking very majestic. Next stop for us is going to be Ellis Island, and we're going to have a walk around there and see what's going on. So the boat has delivered us to Ellis Island. Now I'm sure everyone knows Ellis Island is where a lot of American immigrants came in the past, sort of the 1800s and early 1900s. And we're only here very briefly. We're not going to have too much of a look around because we're all a little bit tired and the day is getting on. We have evening plans, but it's still good to do. And we're now just going to hunt around for our boat to return us to the mainland. And then later on today, we're going to go see some basketball in Brooklyn. So we're back on the boat, heading towards New York City again, and we have this wonderful view of the sailing boat in the foreground and the clouds over the city. We've reached the port, and if I just walk over here, we have a view of the Brooklyn Bridge, and in a few hours we'll be heading across the Brooklyn Bridge. And we'll get a few videos as we do so. We've reached the Brooklyn Bridge. It is a little bit later on in the day, as you can tell from the sun starting to set. And we're going to cross over a bridge to Brooklyn and look at the view as we do so. So, the bridge is very impressive. It takes quite a long time to walk across it because you're basically stopping to take photographs the entire time. But we have this wonderful view of New York in the distance with the sun setting behind it. We've got the Hudson River, and we're now heading over to Brooklyn to watch a basketball game. So, we're at the stadium of the Brooklyn Nets, and there's sort of a friendly game on tonight, which we're going to go and watch. We are in the stadium here, and we're watching some people play basketball. I can't say I know too much about basketball, but to be fair to it, it's quite good to watch, quite interesting, very quick paced, and the only shame of this place is it costs $20 or so for a beer. But apart from that, it's good fun. And it's one of the various breaks they have here, and we have a halftime show with some cheerleaders. It's a new day, and we are now in Central Station. And normally this is getting destroyed, some sort of action movie like Armageddon, but we've come here just have a nice look, and it is very pretty. So we have the Empire State Building in front of us, and we have spent the morning wandering around the city, done a bit of shopping, and we've found this street which has some market stuff on it. And let me just dodge around a few people. We'll get a nice view down the road with the skyscrapers on both sides. But once we're done just with this little bit, we're going to be heading to Times Square. And then we're on to somewhere called Ellen's Diner, where apparently they sing to you while you're having your lunch. We're in Times Square and it is everything you expect it to be from the films. Nice and bright, lots of signs, getting harassed a little bit by mimes, but very interesting to come to and great to see. We are in the diner. This is Ellen's Stardust Diner, and as you can see, the main attraction is somebody singing while you have your lunch. We have headed down the city, and we are now at this boating lake. I think it might be called the Conservatory Lake, but I'm not entirely sure. And we're just having a nice look around the park and seeing what we can find. We have left the Conservatory Lake and we are now at somewhere which I think is just called the lake, or it could be the pond, but I think it is the lake. And we have this nice view out across the bit of water with some full-sized boats, not model boats, in the view, and New York in the distance. We have now reached Bethesda Terrace, which I'm sure everyone is familiar with from its countless appearances in various films. It's very interesting coming to New York, and especially Central Park, because you're always looking out for various locations from various films, and it's good fun trying to figure out where you've seen things. We're now going to be heading up these steps and down the mall to the top of the park, and then it's going to be home time for us. One last view here in the park. I've climbed up a big rock for this nice view of the city, and it's very impressive. So it is the end of the day and we are heading back to our hotel. The hotel's on Wall Street, so we're heading back down past a load of banks. But this is it for us today. This is the end of our trip, and it's been a really good trip. So we've been here around a week, seen a lot of things, and I would heartily recommend Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Niagara, Toronto and New York. So we will get back to you next time.